we come from different backgrounds, but similar principles. We'll probably be talking about Unarius a little bit, and creativity and attunement and different things, and you're welcome to ask questions along the way as we're explaining things. But it's different from regular art of learning a particular technique. We'll talk about attuning to the brothers, and you can look at that as the angels, your creative muse, your higher self, the masters, the old masters of the past. And we believe in the continuity of life, so Leonardo da Vinci is still there and progressing himself and available to help with the artist who's trying to bring through something special. And Billy's one of the people that has done that. But students as well, who've never painted before, have come into the classes, and they'll paint something and then step back, and it's like, whoa, you know, like, where did that come from? It's just a gorgeous piece, and you know, they say, they're the first ones to say, I didn't do it. You know, it's like someone's working through me. So we have a little video, and assuming everything works right, we have Uriel. She's the co-founder of the Unarius Academy of Science, and she was giving a little talk on creativity. That's a nice way to start out.
From what you're saying, it sounds like being an artist and being Unarian is a fairly unique experience, to say, to the standard kind of artwork that's done in the Earth world. What is the difference?
Well, to tell you the truth, and as a matter of fact, there is no great artwork that was ever done by the man's conscious mind. They are all inspired. Many of them are not even aware. Even the man Leonardo da Vinci or any of the great artists, they were inspired from their brothers on the inner worlds, along with their own higher selves. But this is true, that man does not do inspired, creative, and beautiful work from his conscious mind. But this is the help that we have when we are willing to open our minds and our consciousness to the brothers on the inner.
When a person is aware of that, then, now you say some of the artists were not aware, but they were able to paint beautiful paintings. But if an artist is aware, then there's that much greater beauty that can come through.
And that's true, and you have a much better chance, opportunity for the brothers to come through, because then it becomes a rapport that you work together rather than all one-sided. For the most part, the people on the Earth world are not aware that we have access to this higher influence and inspiration and ability. But it's there. There are absolutely no limitations to man whatsoever, what he can do if he will open his mind to it.
Well, Uriel, many of the books, you know, all of the literature of Unarius talks about the brothers as being many of the great artists and philosophers of the past. So does that mean then that when an artist in this Earth world, then when they're working on a painting, that entities like Da Vinci are actually working with them?
Oh, yes, indeed. Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. And when these artists themselves were working, they had to hire brothers to work with them. But, of course, in such instances as these, and the most famous artists, as the Renaissance artists, they themselves were developed beings, but nevertheless, they had the help of the other brothers living in the higher spiritual worlds.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's true for not just art, it's true for other philosophies, other
sculpting,
disciplines.
Poetry, inspired writing, anything you could think of in an inspirational way.
She was saying it's not just what we think of as the arts of, you know, music and dance and literature and so forth. It can be, you know, the way you cook and garden and etc. So it's just a matter of, in Unarius, instead of it being like the angels, they're flying on a cloud or playing a harp, whatever. It's in the books, it's great detail on who these brothers that she mentioned, there's the cities, the homes they live in. So when you make an attunement, like if you are looking at a table, you're in tune with the table. If you're in tune with a plant or whatever it is. So when we talk about it being in tune with the brothers, it's these ascended masters who, in Unarius, our belief is that they do not die, but the continuity of life, and so Leonardo continues on. So, and we just mentioned him, but I mean, any of the artists or musicians or the great masters can overshadow whatever you're doing. But the more that you know about them, and not just what they did in the past, but they continue on progressing as well. So the more that you know about them, when you think of them, you're helping to make that attunement.
As Lonnie was saying, this will be different than traditional art that you have taken before, and sometimes when the power of these brothers from these celestial realms, which Billy will be guiding us to, sometimes that transcendency or those energies come in as a very drowsy sensation, or it can be very recharged, full of energy and vibrant. So if you're feeling sleepy, don't think that that's a negative thing. It's because you're very transcended. And my first painting that I did for Unarius, Uriel told me, and I had an art background, I took some art classes in community college, and Uriel told me that the brothers from the plane of Muse, the artists from that plane, would be overseeing me as I was painting. And she said, and I'd heard the term that the Unarians say, step out. I didn't know what step out meant. Did that mean go out dancing? Or, so it means you go to sleep because your psychic astral body leaves your physical body and travels to these spiritual realms and to these classes on the plane of Muse. And so when I was working on this painting, I was getting frustrated and blocked, and all of a sudden this drowsiness came over me, and I became so transcended and drowsy that I laid right on the floor by the easel. And when I woke up, I didn't remember going onto the inner, but the energy was so strong, I just very quickly painted this painting. And I'll just give one more little example of how you can be overseen by these masters. Usually my style of painting, I like to paint portraits, realistic paintings. And I was taking a Unarius art class. And oftentimes in that class you don't have any preconceived notion of what you want to draw or paint. And I started painting in an impressionist style, totally opposite to what my personal style is. And so I believe an impressionist artist was overseeing me as I was doing this artwork, and the energies came through, and Uriel used it on a cover of a book. So those are some examples of how we can be overshadowed by these master artists from these higher realms, and what some of the sensations of these energies feel like.
First of all, we're going to take a trip, a psychic trip. But first of all, let's explain where we're going. We're going to a planet that's actually, there's several levels of it. We're not all in the same place. We're all on a different part of our evolution. So there's many different levels of learning out there. And what we're going to do is we're going to go each one on its own separate pathway to wherever you envision where you want to be. But this plane of Muse is like a college here, would be a university for the creative arts. Well, the creative arts doesn't mean just painting. And this is just dabbling because we, of course, can't have oil paints and, you know, all of the fancy things that we really would like to have in a class like this. But don't be surprised if someone like Leonardo da Vinci is overshadowing this class, because I've had it happen before. And he overshadowed me, and I painted a very beautiful painting that's hanging on the wall at the center. And it's unlike anything you ever had, this experience. It's so uplifting that you think of their thoughts are your own, only they're not. But when I got through each time I would paint, I was so transcendent, I would look at the painting and I couldn't pull myself away from it. Now this is another point. Leonardo, when he painted the Mona Lisa, he impinged a very high frequency because he came from a very high place. He's a master. His higher self, his archangel, might be up. So you know he's coming from a higher place. And my heart's pounding like crazy. There's energy coming in that I'm not used to. Anyway, the thing, when he painted the Mona Lisa, he impinged in that painting a very high frequency. It went right into the paint, right into the painting, and that's why, to this day, everybody is still so fascinated with the Mona Lisa. They go and they don't know why they're there, but they're drawn to it. Well, this is the object. What we're trying to do is get to the point where we can do that. We can impinge higher frequencies into our artwork, and people will feel it. They'll be drawn to it in a different way, in a healing way, actually. Sometimes there's a healing energy that comes from this kind of artwork. And I don't expect in the time you've got today that we're going to get that involved, but however, you never know what happens when you get into these classes. So we're going to go to Muse, which is the university for creativity, and that means music, poetry, writing, everything musical or creative, period, is on that planet. And there's many teachers that you would know here that have been masters that came here, like at the time of the Renaissance. You might even, if you're sensitive enough, you might see it. You might know it when you see it. We're going to just assume that we're all going to be seeing something, because this is what the object is. I want everybody to just close their eyes, and we're going to take a trip. Appearing before you. Oh, the power is so strong, I'm going to cry. I'm sorry. There's a rainbow bridge appearing in front of you. And we're all going to step upon this bridge. And it's very quickly going to take us to these higher worlds in our consciousness. First of all, we're coming in view to the planet itself, and you're going to see that it vibrates on a pink frequency, pink aura. However, there's every color of the rainbow, and some you have never seen before on this world. Now, we're hovering slightly above it, and if you look around, you'll see everything that would inspire an artist. There's mountains, there's beautiful waterfalls, there's fountains, there's beautiful gardens, there's streams, there's wildlife, there's everything that you would envision here, only it's different. We're going to go down now and alight on the planet itself. And on this planet, we're going to see a pathway before us we're going through a garden scene. And in this garden, there are many beautiful flowers. Flowers like you've never seen before, because they're alive. And you can feel that love energy that is flowing from all things in this dimension. And I'm sorry I'm overpowered by it all. As you walk along the pathway, these little flowers will turn their faces toward you, and you're going to feel this vibration that they're putting off, and it's pure love. All things in this dimension are very crystalline. They're shimmery, shiny, but yet they're soft. They're not hard, like we would call crystal here. And as you walk along, you're going to see the grass is emerald green and sparkly like a real lemon. Emerald. However, it's also soft. And we're going to keep going down this path. You see animals who are very tame. They're not like we see on our world. You'll see a little deer, and it'll come right up to you, and you'll feel the love coming from them also. Now we're going into an area where there's many fountains. Beautiful fountains, and they're flowing pure energy. They're not wet. When you touch it, it's nothing like we know here, but it's a healing energy that goes out from that fountain, and you can feel it. You can feel the vibration. You can hear music of the spheres. You can hear, as you walk along, you can hear a tingling sound, perhaps, like the little glass chimes that the Chinese people had in their possession. And we're going to go and keep going. There's many pathways. There are people who are going to be painting. We'll go on one pathway. There'll be music. There's creativity of all kinds here. Poetry, anything that you would like to visit, you can go in that direction. And then before each one of you, there will be a master, a flame being so bright that you can't tell who it is. You can't see through the brightness. You're not used to that brightness. But they're there, and you could feel the drawing of that soul is drawing you to him or her. And you're going to come back with a whatever it is that you were seeing that you're supposed to see at this moment. And you're going to bring that back in your conscious mind. You may not realize it, but you will bring it back whether you know it or not. It may manifest itself in another totally different time period, but you are receiving information, and there's no time in these worlds, so you can get a great teaching in a very short time that we feel like we're there. And everything here is vibrating, crystalline, shimmery. And now you have conceived whatever it is that you need to bring back with you for this project today or in the future. It doesn't have to be today. But we're coming back now in reverse fashion. We're coming back down the Rainbow Bridge, and we're now here. And when you're ready, just open your eyes. Whatever you can conceive you would like to paint with or draw with or whatever, just tell us and we'll get it for you. And,
Yes, so that we don't have a mass rushed around, we'll just bring it to you like a waiter to your table.
So there's various types of paints. There's pastels, there's marker pens, there's watercolors and acrylics.
And lots of shimmering and glitter.